Hi guys, good evening. Welcome to the tonight's edition of My Best. Actually, today is My Best Games Monday. I got in the last. Hey, hello, Chess Brian. Hello, Eric. It's good, very good to see you. Hey, Dr. Lono. Hi, how are you doing? Thank you for the sub earlier. And hello, GP Bear, hello Cooper, hello, hi guys, it's very good to see you here. Welcome to the Hello Mantrala, Daniel, it's always good to see you here, thank you. And we have, hey Chicken Morales, it's very good to see you guys. Anyway, today we have a special edition of my Best Losses Monday. Today it's a little bit different. I got quite a lot of requests to show uh, wins, and I got actually in double digits number of that request. So today's stream is going to be a little bit special. I also yesterday I played an adoption match against Chiyu Zhao, and I managed not to get myself adopted twice. But so I have decided that the best way to do it is to show a mixture of the games. So tonight's stream will be dedicated to actually 4 games, and there will be a draw, a loss, and actually 2 wins. Tonight's stream is going to be an exception to the course. 3 games will be from the match I played against Chiyu yesterday, and I'm gonna give Chiyu a shout out. For those of you who do not know, Chiyu has been a member of Botas Live, I think it last week, and they have started streaming, and she became Twitch partner in the record time. I think it's something like less than a week. So she streams under the name of Akanemsko, and please don't ask me the origin of that name. She's a great streamer. She is a great chess player. She's a former world champion. And she is somebody you should follow if you already haven't. Anyway, before we start, one of general program announcement. Please take a look at the VOD from Botas Live tonight at the stream that Alexandra Botas did at 7 p.m. like an hour ago. I think what Alexandra was saying, she basically use the personal trauma and personal experience to raise a very important question that affects virtually everyone. And I think that was a very brave thing to do, and many respect to Alexandra Botas for doing it. It was very emotional, it was very touching. It's probably one of the most touching streams I have seen on Twitch, and very frankly, I was actually in a meeting until 10 minutes ago, so I didn't even get the chance to see it properly. But please, I think it only lasted an hour. That's probably the most touching hour on Twitch that I've ever seen. So huge shout out to Alexandra Botas, and it's not like I need to give a shout out to Botas Live, but if you're this is the stream you guys got to see. And many respects to Alexandra Botas for doing that stream. All right. Well, it's very good to see you guys here. This is a special edition of it. And hey, Ulon, yes, Ulon is kind enough to explain to us how she was actually called herself Nemo. Nemo was taken, so she was using Nemsko, and Nemo is from the animated movie Finding Nemo. Thank you, Ulon, for posting that in chat. That's very nice of you. And funny thing is that Nemsko actually means in Czech German, like German, as if of German origin. But so I always but that's a side note. Anyway, give Chiyu a huge follow and huge shout out. She is a great streamer and she's a very strong chess player. Okay. So I'm gonna talk about a couple of games I've played against Chiyu first. Because the purpose of this stream is for me to discuss my experiences on my road to chess improvement. And one lesson that I learned from the match tomorrow is first, I was nervous. I was very nervous to play this match because this is the first match I've actually played on stream, meaning with me actually being on camera and streaming from my old channel. That I haven't done before. And I found that nerve-wracking, and I had a huge adrenaline rush. It was very hard for me to calm down, and very frankly, it affected my play to a quite significant degree. Having said that, I'm very happy with the result. I managed to draw the very first game, and that's the game that you have on screen. That's a screen that I have, that's based on variation I have prepped. And, in other words, the match was technically supposed to be over after the very first game. Then we gave it a second try, and then Chiyu showed her, well, thank you, Dr. Lono, but she showed her class in terms of, after all, she's a former world champion, and she won 6 games afterwards in a row, and then I managed to win, or better to say, swindle the 7th game and avoid adoption for the second time. Hey, Samsonite220, thank you for the subscription at Tier 1 for 3 months. That's very greatly appreciated. So anyway, because I'm going to show you this game because this is a game that I basically prepared, and if you look closer, this is very high accuracy on both our sides, far from perfect. And it was very, this is, Chiyu plays Ruy Lopez almost exclusively. And, oh, thank you, Water Power. That's very greatly appreciated. And yes, this was, basically Chiyu was trying to win a drawn position. You will see that, and I don't blame her. Anyway, so this is Ruy Lopez, standard Ruy Lopez. For Ruy Lopez, I am usually play martial attack. I have been playing martial attack since I started playing chess many years ago, and this has been the opening I'm very familiar with. And these are all standard moves, and here is the beginning of one critical position of this game in which white needs to choose what white can do here. White can play c3 and go into the allow martial attack, which or it can play a couple of anti-martial variations. Standard anti-martial variations are a4 to prevent standard martial attack, and h3, which is what actually Chiyu played. I have to admit that I have analyzed her games on chess.com. I have decided that I'm going to use this opportunity to not just prepare my opening, but prepare for my opponent. And I've discovered that this is something that she basically almost exclusively plays. And the standard response for h3, the only good move is bishop b7, which basically leaves the opportunity for, it gives black flexibility to respond to any white moves. And after bishop b7, c3 is actually not considered the right move, but that's something that Chiyu regularly plays. And very frankly, I expected that. c3 is not a critical move because it blocks the knight from coming to c3. In other words, in this version of Ruy Lopez / martial attack, this c3 should be unblocked and potentially used for the knight. Anyway, so after c3, d5 is the standard move. Takes, and then taking on d5 is a little bit, on e5 here is a little bit dangerous because black has several options here for a very strong attack, and but that wasn't played, and I don't really want to delve too much into theoretical variations here. d4 is also a very good move. d3 is considered critical, and after takes, knight d4. And here is a first blunder that in this game on Chiyu's side. This queen d4 is actually not a good move. It's not a good move in a sense that it allows black to play c5. And after queen g4, it's the best move. And for the record, I had this on the match was on Sunday, and I had this position on on the board, my board on Sunday, because she played this already 3 times prior to this. And the best move in this position, surprisingly enough, is f5. And the reason why it's the best move is because this queen is a little bit in trouble. It really doesn't have a very convenient place to go. And, you know, these pieces are not very well developed. And, you know, and white is, you know, already developed. And, you know, this knight is a monster. This bishop is pointing to the black king. It's a very comfortable position for black. And you know, for the record, when one plays a player that's 400 elo higher than oneself, and this is the position after 15 moves, you can just jump with joy. I was still very nervous, frankly, but I'm in my prep, so I was actually very excited about this. But I have to admit that my prep kind of ended here. If the time frame, thank you, Vlad Chess, that's very greatly appreciated. If I had more time, I would actually probably have remembered a couple of other moves from the prep, but I didn't. But in all honesty, this is already enough that, you know, black is better. Black is very close to winning here. And, you know, queen f3 is a mistake, and this black already has a winning position. We're trading, you know, c4 is a common motive here. Asugdud, this was an online matchup. It was played on our 3 different streams yesterday. If you look, the VOD is in my channel. It was also Maria Yemilanova at PhotoChess was also streaming the commentary, and Chio was also streaming on her channel. So in other words, you know, I had the pleasure of playing in front of almost 5,000 people, which I have to say, you know, at this point I'm still trying to calm myself down. And, you know, I'm playing an adoption match, and obviously if I defeat adoption at the very first game, that's about as brilliant result as you can get. Anyway, so bishop c2 is a normal move. Queen d7 is a blunder. Obviously, I'm losing the thread. Queen h5 is a mistake because it gets the queen where it really has nowhere to go. And although g6, which is what I played, is considered a mistake, it's an indication that white really doesn't have anything on this on the king side. And hey, Sepper, my friend, it's always good to see you. Thank you for joining the stream. I'm showing my best games from both the Chiyu match, and there is also will be a game against Hikaru and David Moret hand and brain match at the end. Anyway, so g6 is not the best move, but g6 underlines the fact that white really doesn't have anything here. After queen h6, you know, that's minus 4.76. This is basically a winning position for black. And, you know, I'm going to continue. Rook a8 is standard motive. Bishop d2 is the best. Bishop c5 is a monster. And, you know, 6... yes, Vlad, Chess. Yes, she's such a presence. And, you know, I'm going to... she can outplay you on a dime, literally. I mean, I played, and I'm going to show that in my next in one of my other games. She outplayed me in the same same end of the game that should be very close to drawn, you know, 3 times. Yes, the best moves was to not worry about playing g6, but again, you know, nerves are telling. But again, I'm reasonably familiar with the general ideas of this position, and I'm finding good moves. And you know what? I'll take against the former world champion. Granted that Chio was a world champion for under 14s, and she was also world champion for under 10s when she was 5. She was a chess prodigy. You know, I'm playing somebody who is much stronger than me, who is an FM. Yes, I agree, Vlad. Chess, my opening prep. Obviously, for me, this is much more important match than for her, and you know, I am I'm not ashamed to say that I spent a couple of hours figuring out what I'm gonna play against her on Saturday. That's anyway. Hey, Sepper, that's very good. Oh, okay. You know what, Sepper? I heard that before, and I promise that I'm gonna fix that for my next stream, which is with Anna Rudolph on Wednesday. Sorry, my friend. That's I'm still learning technical stuff of these streams. Anyway, hey Asug dude, thank you for the follow. That's very greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. All right, so this is a winning position. Knight e3 is a best move, which, very frankly, to this day, I really don't understand what computer was thinking and why is that the best move. I think the idea is for knight to go to c2 after bishop moves from c2. And, the thing is, white pieces are very bad. This knight is horrible. This bishop really has no moves. This bishop is developed, but it's really not there. And white is very, very losing here. Anyway, queen f7 is a blunder, but it's not a blunder that loses the game. And the best move was basically to transition to knight to e4, and then basically with the battery here, attack f2, for which there is no real defense. I didn't see this at the time, and also the white needs to answer the question what it is to do with this bishop. If it moves to e3, it's kind of already lost, and this is basically a very uncomfortable position for white. Anyway, but my plan here was, and I followed that plan, was to basically continue pushing this pawn as far as it go, and I assumed there were some tactical motives associated with f2. They actually weren't played, but we'll get to that very shortly. One thing that needs to be kept in mind: draw is enough for me to not to lose. Draw is sufficient for me to defeat adoption in the very first game. Anyway, so b4 is an attempt to generate complications. I was obviously not going to take it, and I honestly don't care what computer thinks here. For me, keeping this bishop pointed to f2 is obviously more important than whatever gain I gain from these complications here. So I'm very basically playing it safe. So rook d1 is actually not the best move, and here is the plan for which I put the queen on f7. It is basically push f4. In other words, if that fixates the pawn on f2, potential opening, and there is another motive that queen h4 is kind of a desperate move. f3 continues, and what I missed, very frankly, and I'm a little upset with myself, there was a very nice tactical strike here. That's knight e3, at which point basically white can resign, because there are all these threats with open checks, the open file, and it's certainly not pleasant. This bishop is in danger, this rook is in danger, this pawn is in danger, and but I didn't see it. And here is a couple of pointers that needs to be said. I'm still very nervous. I'm playing the match for the first time. I'm playing against a very strong player, and I didn't really see this, and I don't necessarily blame myself. The only way, and that was my conscious decision, that black can lose this position is if black flags. And I have made a decision to basically play it very safe and not to flag. And I don't want to, I was at that time thinking on all these flags that I made when in completely winning positions about quite a few players. So I decided to play it safe, So f3 is a good move, which is actually the second best move in the position. g3 is technically an error. And here I'm missing another tactical error, which is, taking on f2, and you can see this line, and then you can after you take on f2, you put the rook on e2, and basically, there are multiple mates on this side. I have to admit that I didn't see it on the board because I'm starting to, I'm not thinking in terms of winning. I'm thinking in terms of not losing. Knight to 3 would have been a nice win. I didn't see it, and what can I say? Anyway, so I decided to transition this position into an endgame, which was actually a bad decision in terms of objectively a bad decision, but from a standpoint of addressing the issue of not flagging and addressing the issue of defeating adoption, it was actually I'm not attacking this decision. And mind you, so I lost about 8 points worth of by trading my very active queen for this queen that's in trouble. But you know what? I don't begrudge myself that choice. Anyway, so I also managed, I should have played the rook e2 here, which was immediately winning. But, I assumed and that, there is no way in the universe I'm going to lose this endgame. And, I don't know how to say this, and I don't want to say that I'm really, satisfied or very pleasantly with myself. But I didn't want to flag, and I wanted to defeat adoption in the first game. And yeah, I played. Let me put it this way: last 4 moves I played are basically all very significant blunders. But they were, hey Frappuccino, thank you for the host. That's very greatly appreciated. But you know what? Daniel is requesting a song. Let me play that. You know what? I don't begrudge myself that decision. My strategy here, the purpose of this match was to, avoid. Yes, sir. Good. Thank you. The pushing baby. Anyway, so, I didn't have, if I had 10 minutes, I would have calculated that particular position. Anyway, so basically I'm showing you a game that I drew, although I should have won, so it's kind of, my worst draws Monday, if you want. Anyway, so bishop f4 is a mistake, and, I should have done bishop e4, but after this, I have a bishop pair against bishop and knight, and there are 3 pawns on each side. There is really nothing to play with. And technically the only side that can win this position is black. And after, I didn't want to exchange the dark square bishop because it's the stronger of the 2 bishops for me. And, after bishop d4 and, my king is active, I can actually still play for win here. But, hey, Simply Swindling, it's good to see you. h5 is a very good move because it restricts the white knight. White knight basically has nowhere to go. In other words, there is no way for white to activate the knight. And, after h4, bishop e4, again, I'm actually strengthening the position. And, I really have nothing to be afraid of here. I'm playing g5. At this point, I've already made a decision to exchange this bishop for the knight and transition into opposite color bishops. And and I'm not even gonna bother you very much with the rest. See, this is a blunder according to the computer because I'm basically drawing a position that I can play for the win. At that point, I'm 16 seconds and there is a 2-second increment, but I'm slow. So, and here is this. And, I'm going to show you, Chiyu tried to win this for another 20 moves, but this is an absolute complete dead draw. There is no way white can make any progress unless I'm completely stupid. And I'm not even going to try anything. This is as dead a draw as dead a draw can be. So there we go. This is, it went on, and this position I basically won the match. Oh, Daniel. Okay, let's increase the volume. Yeah. All right. Let me. I'm actually gonna replay the whole music because it was low. Okay. So, in other words, first game, adoption defeated, very good result. I have no problems with that. Of course, very frankly, at that moment, the purpose of this match was for me. Hey, Farahira, thank you for the follow. That's very greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. The point of this game match was for me to play games against very strong players. And, drawing a first game out of my opening prep from a one game that was not, that wasn't really part of the plan. So when Chiyu suggested that we give it a second try, I obviously accepted. I'm going to show you last the final game of the match because that illustrates how, hey Frappuccino, it's good to see you, my friend. It illustrates we basically failed the same ending 4 times, and I managed to screw up the opening variation 4 times in 2 different ways, but all 4 times, all 4 white games, I managed to make massive stupidities, to be quite frank. But what I want to show you here is the game that I actually lost, but from a standpoint of a quality of play, that's actually my favorite game from this match. Let me put it this way: would I have preferred in this situation for me to have, continue with an attack and actually won the first game? Yes. But, when one is defeating an adoption match, draw is as good as a win, and I really don't begrudge myself. I think I played this game very well, and I converted a one position into a dead drawn end game. I'll take it in any of these adoption matches. Alright, so to move on to the second game, and you will see that this was a pretty chaotic game, and I'm gonna go through it relatively fast. Of course, we played Rue Lopez, and you will discover that after that first game, this was actually the 5th game. Chiyu would not allow me to play martial attack anymore. She converted to the D3 Rue Lopez. So, bishop c5 is the best move in this position, castle d6, not the best moves, but all reasonable moves. c3 is the standard plan in this position. In many ways, this almost plays like Gioco Piano in Italian defense, with the bishop being on a4 as opposed to the c4. And, to continue, this was actually a plan that I have. And I need to update that Ubot command, my bad. My plan here was very frankly to not allow Chiyu to play a positional game. She is much stronger player actually than anybody else that I know who is not a fully fledged grandmaster in positional understanding. So I have played this move for the simple reason that I wanted to push f5, which I actually ended up playing. Let me get you this window. I was planning on playing f5 and opening up and taking advantage of this bishop. Hey, KBK91, it's good to see you, my friend. Thank you for joining the stream. All right, so hold on. I think that the music has finished. So let's go and change the music to, yeah. So I'm gonna go back and we're gonna go back to Dire Straits. Okay. Anyway, so that was all right. So Daniel is requesting another song. Hey, Jay Groges 28-1. Thank you for this. All right. So let me do this real quick. The music. All right. So this is Ishtar Sava. Okay, sounds good. All right. So the plan here is to basically push f5 and start attacking. And, you know, we kind of both misplayed this quite significantly. And f5 is here in accuracy. But to be honest with you, I don't necessarily care what computer thinks. At this point, I've already lost 3 or 4 games in a row, and I am, you know, I'm changing the strategy a little bit of the match. I've decided that I'm gonna a little bit mix it up. And as you will see, mixing it up and playing very aggressively worked in this, works in this game. And okay, b4, 97, and I don't really want to analyze what d4 and potential d5-4 could bring, so I played a safe game. Bishop b3 is a check, and you know, knight g5 is, you know, threatens the check on f7. It's in all normal moves. You know, anyway, so here is where things start going south for Chiyu. She wants to clarify the position, and f5 is inaccurate because if you look at the analysis, it kind of first allows this check, allows knight g5, all of which is not good for black necessarily. And you know, in the best line, basically white is winning. But I have decided that I'm gonna play an attacking chess, and you will discover here, just very briefly, that you know, here, there are motives here with bishop takes on c3 that actually we both missed very quickly. Anyway, no, queen e7 is not good. ef5 is really, I mean, I was surprised. I think she was hoping for an outpost on e6 here, but because, let me put it this way, taking with the rook on f5 is a very committal move. It basically commits you to sacrifice exchange. And Chiyu is a positional player, and she assumed that I won't do that. And then she's gonna have this huge outpost on e6, from which she, you know, that knight becomes an octopus. Okay, and anyway, and yes, of course, e6 is a whole that, you know, but rook e5 is a huge blunder, and you know what? You know, I did blunder here because I had an option to take on e3 and then take the knight, and you know what? None of us saw it. What's very funny about this match is that Maria Yemelyanova, Photo Chess, and let's give a shout out to Maria as well. She was commentating the match. She basically saw immediately every single tactical thing we did not see immediately. Anyway, but my plan was basically here to sacrifice the exchange, and I had blinkers, so I took on f5. Knight f6 is also not good, but at this point I'm basically saying fine, I'm gonna sacrifice the rook. And after knight g3, I really do not have any option. I'm losing the rook. Takes on e3, takes on f5, because otherwise we exchange the rooks on f1, takes on f5, takes on e3, takes on d3, and this is the position I was aiming for. And I am I don't want to say that I'm proud necessarily of this game because I ultimately lost it. But this was for me a correct dynamic evaluation of this position. My evaluation here is that with extra pawn, this monstrous bishop on d3 and two knights that are gonna start jumping all over the place, that black has enough compensation for the exchange. And computer agrees with me, it judges it that it's actually, this is actually better for black, which it is. Anyway, so rook f2, which is the best move, e4 is another best move. So, Chiyu decided to exchange the bishop on d3. And why do I think it's a positional advantage? Well, my pieces, if in return for that exchange, my pieces all of a sudden have gone to have huge amounts of play. This bishop is very strong, and after when exchanged, it's going to be exchanged for an equally formidable knight. This knight has nowhere to go. This okay, Sting is staying. Thank you, Daniel. That's a very nice request. Actually, this is one of my favorite songs. Hey, Megamaniac! Thank you. Good to see you. Welcome here. So, and you will see in the next couple of moves that basically in exchange for that exchange, and yes, g6 is a blunder that should have cost black the game, because after rook f6, queen f6, there is knight e4, and then this bishop, this knight on d3 falls. You know what, if a WGM and an FM and a former world champion didn't see it, I didn't see it. What's very funny, and credit to PhotoChess, she saw that immediately as well. Anyway, oh, thank you, Everett. Well, that's very kind. I wish it were only that were true, but no. But thank you. That's a very nice thing to hear. Anyway, so rook f1, and after d5, which is a mistake, but if it's a mistake, I don't necessarily begrudge myself that mistake. c4, queen e5, and there are a couple of motives here that render this a better position for white. It is that this particular diagonal is very weak for black, and that's actually going to come into play. And there are some possibilities of attack. The rooks can develop on the f file. This rook is not really well positioned and will remain so throughout the game. But what they got out of this position is a very lively piece play and an initiative, which, as you will see from the one game that I'm going to show white, that's going to be a representation of all white games, I really did not have in many of the other games. Anyway, this is why I'm showing you this game. Knight takes, and the reason for taking with knight is that all of a sudden this pawn on e3 is endangered. Knight c4 is actually a pretty big mistake. Queen g3 is very dangerous. Now rook f7 is the best move because it basically forces black to watch this diagonal like a hawk, because if there is a field from which the queen can give a check to the black king, what follows is the mate. So this is covered by a knight, this is covered by a knight, this is not available to the queen, this is also covered. In other words, it's not immediate, it's not very easy for the white queen to give that check. But that's something that black needs to watch for. Alright, so b5, rook f1 is a blunder. I think she was kind of... I honestly don't know what was the plan here. I think she was basically hoping to double the rooks. Yeah, true enough. And yes. And here b5, I took, and here is one of the crucial position. This is now a very winning position for black. In other words, this is a clearly, unquestionably, it's minus 6.17. It's a winning position for black. I actually played the best move, which is Queen E3. But from a standpoint of easier play, taking on G2 and then taking on E3 and taking the queen might have probably been a better strategic decision. I'm, as TP member mentioned, hey Daniel, okay, Sting is staying, thank you Daniel. So I'm down to 10 seconds, which for me is a huge deal. Chiyu is much faster than me, so for her, 14 seconds is like equivalent for 2 minutes for me, to be very frank. She plays a lot of 3-minute games, she plays a lot of bullet games, and so anyway, so I played Queen E3, and King H2 is the best, and here is there is an easy win here. An easy win is to play knight e5. I'm down to 10 seconds, and I'm at this point, I don't want to say panicking, but I'm at this point, not seeing what I need to play to save this, because, I cannot really, I don't want to move either on these knights to f4 to block, and I didn't see knight e5 in, 10 seconds, so I made a blunder, and Queen c6, and I'm not here, I'm only here lost because, this is a very dangerous position for black, but I flagged in this position. And, unfortunately I wasn't happy with this, but in analysis of this game, I discovered a strategy how to win, how to play for a win against Chiyu here, and it's basically to mix it up. In other words, to sacrifice exchange. If I didn't make the last blunder, yes, of course. Yeah. Anyway, so basically, knight e5 is easily winnable because first it's a fork. If black plays, if black can choose, white can choose to return the exchange, and at this point it's white is completely lost, or it can change to play something like rook f8, king g7, takes, and then decide if, accidentally, so takes on f8, takes on f8. By the way, I made that blunder in one of the games, you will see that in the next game. This is now a very easy win. This pawn is gonna promote. Where on earth is this king going? This cavalry, when the first knight come on f4, white can resign. Yeah. So, anyway, I'll take this game. This is a game that I consider actually my best game in the match, although I lost it. And I'm gonna now, transition over to the game that is a representative of all 4 games that we played with, thank you Samson, thank you Samson 220, thank you Asudu, that's very greatly appreciated. This is a representative. We basically played the same game 4 times, and I actually managed to mess that up all 4 times, and I'm going to show you this. I underestimated the stress level of playing on stream and playing for, I don't want to say significant stake, but playing for me was a meaningful game, and a much more meaningful game than obviously for Chiyu, who is expected to easily win. Though I have to say, I looked at the VOD. Hey, House and Pancakes, thank you for the follow. I did get her full attention. She played with full strength. she was completely focused. Anyway, so I'll show you basically this game fairly quickly. This is incidentally a prepped variation, and I may decide that next time I'm prepping that I should probably prep it a few days earlier and before the actual event, so I have time for that to be absorbed and then review it a day before. So this is a prepped variation of Italian game. I didn't really want to go and play Ru Lopez against Chiu because we played that on stream 3 or 4 times and she always outplayed me in a positional game. That the Ru Lopez is her bread and butter. So anyway, knight f6, d4 is actually a very dangerous book move, and I'm actually going to show you a couple of variations here. Knight d4 is the best move because if if black takes on e4, you push e5, and I don't want to go into wild details here, but black is in severe danger of losing this very quickly, and the path, if you see here, the computer changes it, and finding the best move, which is d5, and then playing something along these lines is pretty messy, and definitely not Chiu's style. So she played bishop d4, which is the best game, and incidentally I had this prepped analysis. At knight d4 you take on e5, and it's already a huge advantage for white because white can take on f7 with a with a bishop, and to not spend 20 minutes of this variation. This is basically a very comfortable and very good position for this. Hey, Road to Chess Master, thank you for joining us. And yes, Silent Killa is black. Ru Lopez is Chiu's very favorite opening. It's like 90% of her. She plays in a lot of games, and not really. Ru Lopez is usually somewhat avoided because I think Kramnik tried to neutralize it with Berlin defense a few years ago, but yeah, Ru Lopez is still a very active opening. Anyway, so bishop d4 is what was played in the game. That's a common move. Takes. Bishop g5, and I want to show you a couple of wild variations here. h6 is a book move. That's the best move in the position. And here is an amusing variation that you should just be aware of. If black plays g5, white plays f4, and white is very much better here. And what was very funny, in one of Chiu's games, she actually played against the 2600 level player. She played bishop f4, g takes on f4, and then rook f4 is immediately crushing. And it's really not immediately obvious that it is. Anyway, so what was played? Well, instead of she played knight d6, and I have to make an admission here. I had this position on my board on Saturday, and the proper variation, in first 2 games I actually managed to mess this up so bad that it ended with 2 pawns down, nerves. And this is the best move, and here in eternal stupidity of mine, I played f4 here without taking the queen first. The proper sequence of moves that I actually played this position 4 times, and I didn't manage to pull that off, was to take on d8, king takes on d8, and here f4 is a move after which white is better, or computer can say black is better, but actually white after this stockfish finishes, it will end up being better for white. And this is also, and this was the idea behind this opening. That's actually what I played, Rogue Chess Master. That's the end. I played that game twice, and believe me, F4 is better. You will see that in a second. Anyway, but that was the prepped line, and I managed to not play 2 right moves 4 times. Please don't ask me why. Please don't, well, that was actually played, and you will see she actually, she outplayed me in this ending 4 times. And keep in mind, so what I played was bishop f6, which is inaccuracy. And, takes on f6, and when all is said and done, yes, black has 2 sets of doubled pawns, but this bishop turns to be surprisingly resilient, and this g-file is surprisingly useful. And here is another thing, this position is right up Chiyu's alley. This is a positional game in which she has a small advantage, and that is something that she plays brutally, brutally effectively, as I learned to my okay, Daniel, we'll keep going on. That I learned to my misfortune, because this is the 4th time I'm playing this. Thank you, JS Brand, for the follow. I'm playing this for the 4th time, and I managed to mess it up for the 4th time. Shame on me. And this is already game 7 of the second adoption attempt, and I really don't have that many white games left to try to play this properly. And you will see when all is settled and done, computer agrees with me that black is better. Anyway, but rook d1 is a good move, bishop c3, knight c3 is a good move, playing something 4 times. I'm already, this is my 4th try at this position. Yes, evaluation is definitely better for black. And, I'm here pushing to push the pawn on a5 so that I have my pawns on the queen side, on the black fields, so that the bishop cannot touch them. And, a6 is a good move. I'm playing a5. That's actually, a very good move. That's like a second best move. Rook hg8 is a very good move. b4, I'm continuing with the plan to kind of get my pawns out, because this bishop is surprisingly strong in combination with the rooks and this g-file. In the second game of this match, I got slaughtered very quickly on g-file here. I'm not showing you this. Well, if she played a6 instead of, if she played a5, then I have an outpost here for b5, and then, this pawn is a little bit threatened, and all of a sudden my knight is active. With bishop on c6, and, yes, she wants to control b5, my knight here is being dominated by the bishop and these pawns. And by the way, this pawn ends up on f5, and then this, just to give you an idea, in one of the games, this pawn knight ended up on h1. Obviously I lost that game in that, so anyway. So to, restrict the knight, and I don't know any player anywhere near Chiyu's strength that plays this as well as she does. I have to, that's a huge, I experienced it firsthand. b4, rook d8, rook d1, f5, and obviously now, there is a little bit of pressure here. F3 is not the best move, but in retrospect I don't regret playing it. I've tried exchanging the rooks and trying to get the king to get to the h6 pawn in one of the games, and that did not work. Anyway, so takes on f4, which is actually an accuracy. We exchange. And I take on e4, and this is a very dangerous position for white, but that's a position that, you know, under best play is almost savable. Problem here is that this pawn is weak, and you know, if I allow f5 and allow these pawns to become connected, I'm basically lost. All right, before we continue, I'm gonna go back to the Dire Straits. And yeah, we can listen to Sultans of Swing. I can listen to Sultans of Swing all the time. Anyway, so take on e4, continue f5, that's a very good move. King f2 is, you know, going. h3, it's probably a good computer move, but anyway. Yes, exactly, simply winning. Why deceptive? Because she has complete control and my knight has basically nowhere to go. And alright, king e7, king e3, king f6, g3, all the best moves, king g5, and I'm here making an error. I really shouldn't have played this, because that allows the following lovely attack, which computer considers a mistake, which actually it is, because she could have just taken an f4, at which point she has, you know, two pawns. She's 2 pawns ahead, and actually it's 2 pawns. Yeah, 2 pawns ahead, and I'm dead. But she didn't see it. But frankly, this should have been sufficient. To be very frank, this is one of the key positions of the match. I am here. All right, so what I do here, I can't believe I'm going to lose the same endgame for the 4th time. And why on earth did I allow myself to play the same bad endgame 4 times? That's something that I'm going to discuss when, you know, after we show this game. And, you know, I think I've actually found the best practical chance, and I'm going to show you this. So the best practical chance for white is to allow, let me rephrase, what are the considerations? If I allow these 2 pawns to disentangle themselves and become connected, you know, white can resign. I cannot allow king to go to g4 and h3 and take care of these pawns. That basically means that I had to give something. Yeah, h4 unfortunately you know, after this is taken, you know, I am doing, you know, it goes to king g3, king g4, and then this pawn is dead. So I cannot allow king here. I really cannot allow this to be disentangled, and that actually made this pawn expendable. She should have played ef5 here, which would have been an easier win, but you know, at this point she thinks, with some justification, she's assuming that she is winning. And I was hoping for this position because here I have a tactical strike that allows me to keep fighting in this move, which is basically, you know, I played, and if you look closer, I spent more than a minute, almost a minute and a half thinking about this, the move before, which was, I played f6, which is an exclamation mark move. Forgive me for giving myself an exclamation mark. Because yes, you know, black is actually 2 pawns up, but those 2 pawns are, you know, obviously she can't take the knight because the queen promotes. And as you will see here, you know, after this, you know, this position is very close to holdable for white, because, you know, minus 161 is fine, but, you know, this knight all of a sudden have a scope for action. It can go to e4 and then to c5, and all of a sudden it's not immediately clear what, you know, all of a sudden, you know, white has some counter chances. So what Chiyu did in this position, and I'm gonna put that song that Daniel requested. The animals don't let me misunderstood. Thank you. Okay. So all of a sudden, the extra pawns are doubled. This is a potentially dangerous pawn. And, to be very frank, at this moment, Chiyu's mother showed up and brought her food, which distracted her, which needs to be said. And thank you, her mom, for bringing her food at precisely the right moment. And I have thought about this, and I basically concluded that if we remove the bishop and knight, if king ends up on e4, the position is drawn. Yeah. Anyway, so played h5, which is actually, I don't want to say a game that, threw the win away, but it's a move that basically threw the win away. Because all of a sudden, knight d4 is really good, and, g4 is basically creating a passed pawn. And this was the key blunder. This is the first key blunder that Chiyu made in the game. And guess what? This is a drawn endgame. This is, and I'm going to show you this because it's very instructive. I'll go back to a subdued there. I didn't have time to do that, unfortunately, And if I play h4, she's gonna play. H4 is only playable if my knight is on f2. If I allow the king to do g4, I'm basically dead. I'll get back to that position. But this is a drawn endgame. The best try is, to do something alongside this, and then play h4, g4 here, and here is a very instructive endgame. This actually loses. This loses because, and it loses, funnily enough, not, because all of a sudden this pawn on e6, white cannot keep the opposition, it loses. But I wasn't going to play that, obviously. This is a drawn position. Yeah. And, so what happened next was, how the game was lost. She played b6 because she overlooked this, and game over. Yep. I was very relieved when this happened, and this is it's a very nice way to win a last game, because it's not immediately obvious to see, and this is white wins, and there you go. And that was the end of the game. It really doesn't matter. The rest doesn't matter. Anyway, so that was the game 7. And I'm showing it for two reasons. It's a very good illustration of, one, how strong oppositional player Chiyu is. Thank you, Matt Quick Chess. That's very greatly appreciated. Thank you. We have one more game to show, which is my biggest flex game. Actually, I want to say that, she was distracted by food, but you know what? I'll take it. I was, I avoided adoption against somebody who is 400 yellow points stronger than me, not once, but hey, GM Lenderman, thank you for the raid. That's very greatly appreciated. Yes, simplifying is the bishop was much better than the knight. That's absolutely true. But you know what? The pawn endgame with 2 pawns down, that's a draw that really, doesn't get. And just welcome raiders. Welcome. Thank you, Grandmaster Lenderman, for the raid. That's very greatly appreciated. This is my best games. It's normally my best losses, but today I'm actually showing Thank you, Mad Quick Chess, for the cheer. I'm showing games as to popular demand, and I'm going to show one more game. It's the match was over. I avoided being adopted twice. The next match, incidentally, in the series will be against Grandmaster Amon Hambleton, I hope. And, I will, I don't expect that I'll survive that match unadopted, but I'm going to give it a try. But for me, the lesson learned from this match was, for crying out loud, calm down, and, if you prepare an opening, take some, I messed this up not once, not twice, I messed this up 4 times. Nothing really prevented me to, basically taking a quick break, and pulling up my prep and finding out, okay, what am I missing here? Why did I mess this up? But I didn't do that, so anyway. The highlight of the match, I have to say, is gonna have to be this. I think Chiyu deserved to adopt me. She proved her class. She won 6 games in a row. She outplayed me positionally in every single game she played as black, in which we played this variation. And, but in the end, I'm very proud of the result. So I am, I don't, I'm not, and I'm going to be proud for that I found this B5 motive, there. So, yes, Road to Chessmaster, did it go through? I got from Mad Quick Chess. Anyway, thank you though. That's, I didn't get the notification, but you know what I'm gonna do? Let's see here. I didn't get the notification, but thank you for the tip. I'll double check and I'll let you know. I'll send you a whisper, but thank you. All right. So yes, Chessmaster. What's the quick question? I'm more than happy to answer it. All right, I'm happy to answer. So that's the 3rd game, and I'm going to show the 4th game. And please, I want to make some clarification. This was one of my most glorious moments with chess. I was actually playing a game against. It came through. I just missed it. My bad. Thank you. I'll send you some. Oh, wonderful. Please start. I'm gonna send you a long DM and I'll tell you a couple of things. To answer the question from Asu Dude, I started playing chess at age of 5, but then I have a hiatus of about 35 years. I played somewhat competitively when I was in my teens. When I went to college, I basically stopped playing chess, and then I rediscovered my chess after 35 years, and here I am, streaming chess in my tender age of 52. Well, first, let's make a couple of clarifications, and I'm actually going to post a link to this particular game. I didn't win a game against Hikaru. I won a game against a hand and brain team in which Daryl Morey is. Well, let me put Sudo to answer your question. My dream is to be. Dream is to get an NM title. I'm not there yet. I have at least 200 ELO points to go. So it was a game against Hand and Brain, a team of Hikaru Nakamura, who was the hand, and Daryl Morey, who is general manager of Houston Rockets. And he was the brain, and I think his strength is somewhere around 1300. So obviously, this is not a win against Hikaru. the whole game was streamed on Hikaru's channel. I'm showing this because I got probably 20 requests to discuss this game, so here it is. I hope Hikaru won't mind. And for the record, Hikaru was very gracious at the end of this stream, and and has always been gracious whenever we played. So the reason I'm showing you this is because it's one of my best games, not just because I won, but because I won because I was playing an opening variation that I streamed about. And without much further ado, let me actually show you what I have in mind. So e4, d6, d4, knight f6, knight c3. This is Pirt's defense. And incidentally, one of my pet peeves is that people call Pirt's defense perk. Let me put it this way, 2500 on a Allometer. It was actually 2495, but that just proves how inaccurate the Allometer is. There is no way in the universe I am 2495. I would love to be, but no. Hey, Kimi Liu, thank you for the Hue Rage of 147. Kimi Liu is a fellow streamer, and she is one of the leaders of the youth movement here. She is, I think, 15, and she is a great streamer, and I always enjoy watching her. Oh, 17! Oh, my apologies. I know you're still at the age when being older is a good thing. So, Kimi, thank you again for joining us, and let me give young lady a diamond. Thank you for the raid again. That's very, very nice of you. And you now have a diamond in your VIP in the channel. Thank you so much. And anyway, thank you again, and thank you for the huge raid, and thank you for joining us. You are a very strong player in your future of chess. So thank you. Anyway, so for the raiders, this is usually my common stream that's called my best losses, but after multiple requests, I have decided to show some wins. This is the fourth game in the stream. I showed 3 games that they played against WGM Chiu Jiao. We played a very good adoption match, and I managed myself not to get adopted twice. So yes, anyway, so this is a game I didn't play against Hikaru. I played against the hand and brain team against but Hikaru was the hand, and the brains was Daryl Morey of Houston Rockets, the general manager of Houston Rockets. Kimi Liu, whatever Dr. Lon said, I think everybody here completely agree. You are the future of the chess. So that's not flattery, that's simply the truth. Anyway, so the reason I have such a high accuracy in this game, Lali, my friend, I can't believe you woke up here to watch this, is I am showing my best losses, but I'm inserting a couple of wins as to popular request. This is a game that I won against Hikaru and Daryl Morey. So the reason why this is such a high accuracy is this is a game that was based on a particular theoretical variation against Pirt's defense that's called 150 attack, that I've discovered that it's very easy to play. And also I think I played it quite well. And anyway, so this is normal. So this is normal Pirt's defense. Normally, white plays, here the Austrian attack. I prefer 150 attack. It's characterized by playing, bishop on e3, then f3, queen d2, and pushing the pawns and trying to mate the black king. It's called 150 attack. It's because the 1900 ELO in British Chess Federation's rating system is called 150. And that's basically an easy way for attack for relatively low rated players, which works for me perfectly. Anyway, so, castles, queen d2, this is all normal. And, in 150 attack against Pirc defense resembles Yugoslav attack against Sicilian, resembles Keres attack, resembles quite a few other openings. And it's basically push the pawns, put the bishop on h6 and so on and so forth. Incidentally, I think my score with the 150 attack is somewhere around 85%. I really like the opening and I played it afterwards. I won a rather nice game against Andrea Bottes very recently, and it's a great opening. Yes, f3 setups are really nice. Anyway, so castle long, c6, obviously black needs to find some counterplay, and I'm gonna turn the analysis window so we can basically see it. King b1 is a standard move because you want to put the king away from this particular diagonal. Hey Rochefon, thank you for the cheer, that's very greatly appreciated. And b5 is the best move. Bishop. Hey, Matvic Chess, it's very good. Yes, and that's basically based on 1500. Actually, they call it 150, which I think multiplies by 16 and becomes 1800. And yes, it's very easy to play. Anyway, so bishop h6, h4, all of these moves basically play themselves. This is very straightforward, and Hikaru, if you take a look at this, and I'm gonna repost the YouTube link. Hikaru was kind enough to post this game on his channel. Hey, thank you, Kimi Lou, thank you for the follow, and thank you, J. Georges at 2001, thank you for the cheer, that's very greatly appreciated, and thank you again, Kimi, for the cheer, that's very nice of you. So, Hikaru roasted me a little bit here because this is, I played g5, which is obviously a mistake, and, he basically said that I'm locking down the attack, all true. I was kind of hoping to push h5 afterwards, but, it's all good. Knight h5, and the position is basically equal, but one thing to keep in mind, Hikaru is here playing with the brain of Darlene Moret, who is a great guy, but he is obviously not Hikaru's class when it comes to playing chess. b3 is a type of accuracy that I made in quite a few positions. I'm trying to prevent knight to jump on c4. I do it in quite a lot of openings, and I don't necessarily. Anyway, I need to learn how to do it. Let me put it this way. Anyway, after so bishop and h3, knight f4. This is all normal moves. Knight e2 is the move because we really cannot tolerate this knight of f4, especially since eventually we want to push this pawn forward. And knight e2, bishop c8, which is actually, I think Hikaru was not very happy with our said bishop move. Obviously playing a4 is much better, and h5 is a thematic here. Takes, and a4. In other words, these are all inaccuracies that obviously Hikaru wouldn't make if he was not playing with Daryl. But this is really not why I'm showing you this game. The reason is that after takes, and black really needs to take with this, because if otherwise he's gonna get mated along the h file. Rook on h1. This is, computer says play h5. That's a very computer move. I don't think most of the humans would play that move. f4, and this is a typical position for 150 attack. Basically, the attack is going through, and white is faster here because h file is already open. By the time black opens the a file and doubles up some heavy pieces, the white is gonna mate him over here. So yeah, well, very frankly, FG6 is probably the best move, and if you guys look at that YouTube video, Daryl asked Hikaru why did he play it, and he actually explained. Because if he doesn't take with if he opens the H file, then white is gonna win queen and a rook for two rooks. That's basically the easiest explanation. Anyway, so takes, obviously we don't want to allow the open A file, and you know, knight D7, it's a forced knight move, F5, Queen A5, and this is the crucial. There are two moves that I'm very proud of in this game. This is the first one. You know, I have a biased oversimplification here that I want to, you know, exchange queens and simplify to a stable position. And you will discover here that, you know, if I remember correctly, I spent quite some time thinking about this. And the right move here is rather obvious. It's, you know, you will see that Queen A5 would be a major blunder. I played D4, actually I played F6 first, and then King G8, and then played B4, which, hey, thank you Matt Quick Chess for giving a tier 1 sub to Daniel. That's very, very nice of you, very greatly appreciated. So, you know, B4, it's, you know, what does black do here? You know, this rook controls A3, so, you know, this is controlled, Queen A4 doesn't really make much sense. So the best move in this position is Queen A7. Computer prefers, you know, Queen C7. And here, you know, white is obviously, you know, winning, but again, you know, I'm playing Hikaru here, so I don't want to say I'm a little bit stressed, but I am. And although it's not Hikaru, it's Hikaru and Daryl Morey, it's still, you know. And I'm also playing this with 15,000 people watching it on Hikaru's stream. So, you know, Hikaru is still Hikaru. And as a funny aside, just gonna mention this. Right before this game, I played in one of the sub-bottles that Anna Rudolph and Alexander Bottas usually have. And Anna Rudolph was following me to watch that game, and what happened was they were both streamed. She continued to stream, and this game was playing on her board, which is very funny, and Anna actually didn't notice, but her chat did. Anyway, just a funny aside note. So D5 is a blunder, you know, because allows black to play C5, but at this point, I think they made a decision that they are gonna go for this plan. I think Hikaru also wanted to play this, and with an attempt to, you know, conduct a mating attack alongside the A file, and you know, so in many ways they weren't gonna play C5. C5 would lead to a blocking position, and it would probably be too slow for them. Anyway, so knight b6, they're following that plan, and I'm taking on d5, and here is knight c4, and you will discover that this is a little bit of a dangerous position for white, because all of a sudden, you know, there are three pieces, you know, attacking the white king. And yes, the best move, which is, you know, also a rather obvious move, is to play Queen d5. But, and this is actually the second best move according to the computer. When you look, it's, you know, very greatly, very dangerous. And, you know, I'm also pretty much down on time, which is my usual excuse. I'm very proud of this move. Computer call it inaccuracy as well as it wants. I don't care. I'm very proud of that move. It's one of my favorite moves of all time, because basically with that simple move, a2 to a3, black has nothing. Because this, it's a protected pawn. And, and if what happens in the game is if black takes, and this was, Hikaru wasn't very happy about this move. If you look at that YouTube video that I posted in chat, and I'm gonna post it one more time, let me see, it's, Hikaru realized that they were losing because after rook a3, and there is a rather nice checkmate. So Hikaru here was playing, this wasn't Hikaru, this was the hand and brain team of Hikaru as a hand, and the brain being Daryl Morey of Houston Rockets general manager, who's somewhere around 300. But, so yes, when you look here, I will, yes, I delivered a checkmate to Hikaru. No, I didn't. I'll take any win that involves Hikaru in any way, shape, and form. But the reason why I'm showing you this game is that it's one of my, I won't say proudest moments of chess, but it is. It shows a couple of things. 150 attack for me is a really very effective way to counter Pirt's defense. And the game pass basically plays itself. I made quite a few blunders, but I still had 97.5 for accuracy that I will take in any day of the week, and twice on Saturday. I'm also very proud of this, not f6 move, but this b4 move, keeping queens on board, preserved white's advantage. And, a3, and forgive me, computer, but you're stupid. This is a double exclamation mark move. Yes, it's probably better, less good that some computer move that wins the game, in 20 uniques move. a3 basically shuffles, eliminates any attack black may have, and black really cannot defend this position even if they don't take an a3. There's just too many threats. There is a c7 here, which is very dangerous. That's so, and I'm very proud of this game. I'm very proud of this move a3, which actually Hikaru, if you look at the video, basically said Nicola found a3, which basically, after which we have nothing. And that's, I'll trust Hikaru's judgment over computers any day of the week. This is actually my second most, yes, Hedgehog, thank you for this. There is a YouTube channel, it's actually linked in the chat. I think I'm gonna post it, and I upload streams from this, and you can see this stream there. I have to say that I'm gonna show this one more time. I have this b5 move against Chiu is probably somewhere in the same place as my favorite move against very strong players that are infinitely stronger than me. So I think to be very frank, simply swindling, I analyzed this game and I basically said, forgive my French, screw computer line a3-1. It's a human move that's strong enough, and it basically doesn't force us to calculate anything. At 29 seconds, I'm taking a move that's inaccuracy that leads to 582 versus a computer move that's very complicated. You have to, I'm actually going to show it. You know what? Just look at this line: knight c3, queen a3. This. Yeah, thank you. Hello. This is the best computer line. Okay, I am gonna say this very vividly. Which human in their right mind would play this? I mean, come on. I mean, this is maybe objectively better, but this is absolutely scary. Yeah, exactly. I mean, A3 is, you know, honest, from. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. Oh, Lali, by the way, you were exactly right. Samit killed me in that. Well, I played like crap, but Samit killed me in that sub battle. I forget about it. I'm not playing this. Computer can say whatever you want. And what's very funny is I put this for Lila, and Lila actually didn't like this line. So forget it. Oh, thank you, Road to Chess Master. I think this is one of my best games that I played on Twitch. I'm very proud of this game. I'm showing it, and although it's not against Hikaru, it involves Hikaru, so I'm very happy about it. Oh, Road to Chess Master, I'm glad. I'm very happy you like it. For me, the greatest rock band of all time is Dire Straits. I absolutely love Dire Straits. Okay, so this is basically 4 games. Thank you, Drunk Pyro. That's very nice of you. And by the way, Drunk Pyro, you actually made the absolutely best statement about that stream yesterday against Chiyu. This is a look of a relieved man, and that's exactly how I felt after I managed to win that last game against Chiyu. So thank you for that. That's very nice. No, and for the record, I didn't run out of losses. I have. Oh, thank you. That's very nice to hear. You deserve this win. I hope that's true, but it's nice. And 2511, thank you for joining this. And thank you, Drunk Pyro, for joining us. It's always good to have you here. We're going to revert to the normal format of just losses. There are plenty of more losses to be had. I'm hoping to cross the 2000 threshold sometime very shortly, and I'm hoping to continue my chess progress however far it takes me. Ideally, I would like at some point to beat 2100, and thank you guys for following me on this road. In terms of the program's announcements, if you haven't seen, I'm going to repeat what I said at the beginning of the stream. Please watch the VOD from Bottes Live at 7 p.m. today. Alexander was very brave and made what amounts to a public awareness statement that I think we all should be aware of. That's a very respectful move. No, Lali, there will be best losses. Well, best losses will come back next week. And for the record, today's game included a draw. Included a draw, included a loss, and included a win that was somewhat undeserved. So. The channel now is going to have 3 regular streams. This is my best losses at Mondays at 8 p.m. Nicola Learns Chess with Anna Rudolph at 5 p.m. on Wednesdays, and is absolutely fabulous. And it's the last. Yeah, I'm sorry. We should update it. We should have updated it. And there will be also a series called Adopt Nicola. Oh, okay, we'll change that, Lali. Sorry about that. Adopt Nicola, which is Sundays at noon. Next Sunday, this coming Sunday, it's Aman Hambleton. After that, it's Dina Melakaya, which is a WGM of Russian descent from France. And then Alessia Santeramo, and finally I'll play a match against Alexander Bottes. So we have lots of players lined up to adopt me, and Well, who is Nicola gonna adopt? Somebody who is 1,000. Very frankly, and I'm gonna say this, for me playing 8 or was it 7, very serious. To be quite frank, Lally, and I'm gonna be very honest here, I prefer to play against strong players and get adopted and learn something in the process than to, adapt. Okay, I can probably challenge Nico or Tori or some of these PogChamp streamers and probably adopt most of them. I think that it has been said that Kasparov, after their first match, Karpov-Kasparov match in 1985, became a very much stronger player because he played 40 plus games against Karpov. And very frankly, for me to play a semi-serious, reasonably long time frame, this was 5+2, I am very, I have a feeling that I can only benefit for that experience. And even if I get, I know, Lally, that's fine. My bad, I didn't change the MUBOT, my bad. I had my IRL, IRL has been acting up recently. I think it's a learning experience, and I hope to continue, and hope you guys will enjoy it. And if I improve in chess alongside get adopted a few times, that's perfectly fine. Anyway, and we'll go from there. And first, thank you everybody. Thank you for all the subs. Thank you for all the raids. Well, let's put it this way. I think that's I think a meaningful and interesting match for me to try to adopt somebody would be to play against Golden Story, because I think the difference in skill set is about the same as it is between me and Chiyu. So you know what? I may give it a try. I'll talk to Tori about it. Maybe Sunday after Alexandra Bottas, it might be Tori's time, and I'm gonna try to adopt her. And and for the record, I don't know anybody who has progressed in chess as much as she has progressed. So anyway, thank you again. It's very nice of you to be here. Looking forward to another torture session with Anna. And we will, we're actually going to do a funny fart. Oh, she's actually doing just chatting. I'm gonna send you to Hans Niemann. She raided us a couple of times, so let's send him a raid. And she's actually playing some serious games of chess. Send my regards to Hans. Hans has actually acquired a haircut, and he's a very strong player. And at some point, I think very soon, he's gonna, if I'm allowed to roast him a little bit, he's gonna acquire a girlfriend. But we'll figure that out. Thank you guys for being here, and the raid is starting now. And again, thank you, and please, looking forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday, and then seeing you guys again for the next Adopt Nicola session. Bye and good night.